think we'll live.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good to see you bright and early.
Do you have games on your phone?
That's the
Bright.
least enthusiastic you've ever been, Daniel.
Oh, yeah, baby. I'm getting over
Me-
being sick, but I'm here to watch us stick a sticky note on a PS5. Are you ready,
Oh.
John?
Hell yeah.
I'm ready to see a box
That
today.
thumbnail is so good.
I love it.
I was like, I
It's
can't
so
possibly
good.
improve it. It's already perfect as it is. That's
It's
pretty
our
much what we're
best
gonna
yet.
see.
What if that's the actual design, though? They revealed the box and it's literally just a PS5 with a poster on it.
Cerny just walks out to a PS5 that's been there for like 4 years and just slaps a sticky note on it. And he's like, "It's done."
Yeah.
$699. There you go.
Take a trip to the dollar store
Yep.
and make your own.
That's a good question. What do you guys? Let's do some predictions. What do we think the price of this thing will be?
Well, what's the
much.
current PS5 price in dollars?
I believe it's $499
Is it
for the top end.
$499? Yeah.
Is it-
Okay.
Yeah, $499 for the
Yeah.
PS5 with a disc drive, and $399 without.
Right. Or I'm seeing 449 without.
Leave, and this is crazy. I think it's going to be $549, and the reason I think that is
Really?
because they want to avoid the $599 US memes.
Yeah,
that
it'd just
will
be
come
meme
out.
to death if it's $599.
That'd be
Is
hilarious.
that, isn't that what the
Yeah.
PS3 costs?
Yeah.
The PS3
Yeah.
was
Started.
very famously $599 US.
Right.
I still have it in my
$599
mind.
US dollars.
Where it was like
yeah.
$599 US. It's just meme to death.
Mhm.
Eastman
Yeah,
says
like you-
$598.
Oh
Well,
man.
that's how they
You're playing
stop it.
prices right now.
You know what? I would respect it just for the hilarity of it.
Yeah.
Yes, true. Yeah. Doubling
they-
down on the
I mean, the weird part is though, when you think about that, how do you get away with it only being $50 more than the top end model, which leads me to believe it has to be minimum $599.
Yeah, like with PS4 and PS4 Pro, they basically killed the current system and replaced it with the Slim. But they've already done a Slim now, so it's not like they can cut the price more than that.
Mhm.
There's
And-
also
and
the
they
rumor
just-
I saw going around that this will not have a disc drive.
Yes, so I could see it being $549 no disc drive, which would put it at $649 with the drive.
Yeah, when you
Um,
say there's no disk drive, I assume you mean like how it currently is, where you have to either get the disk drive SKU or attach a disk drive.
See
I
now,
was under the impression there is no disc drive SKU and that you
Like,
have
yeah,
to write the
so-
attachment.
that's hmm.
the rumor going around is that the PS5 Pro does not ship with a disk drive. However, if you have a Slim, those are modular and you can just buy the disk
Yeah.
drive later and bolt
Yeah.
it on. And so I'm guessing that they'll probably say, "Oh, hey, it's compatible with the existing disk drive. You can put that on." Because we all know from the rumor that it's hardly a rumor at this point, but we all know that it's got like 3 lines in the design, which means
Yeah.
it still has that segmented kind of design where you could
Yeah.
pop off a disk drive and put one on.
I guess it hides
And-
the cost more too, right? Because if you have a disk drive SKU, you're looking at something that's probably going to be like, I don't know, like $600, $650. I have no idea. So if you just pretend that there's no disk drive and you've got to buy it separately, it's like, oh look, it's not as expensive as
Right.
it seems.
Yeah, or they might be like, "Oh, if you already have a
Yeah.
PS5 Slim, you can take the disk drive off of yours and just put it on your Pro at no additional cost." Which is interesting because I do have a Slim. I'm staring at it and I'm like, but I don't know that I'd want to take the drive off it because then I'd have to get like a different plate. I don't know.
Mm.
But it does seem like a way to soften the blow of it. And I can't imagine this thing being like if we're talking price of the console with a disc drive, I can't imagine it being under $600 because we have to remember that here in the States, Sony just bumped up the price of the controllers by $5, and overseas they bumped up the price of the console itself by, I want to say, like the equivalent of $100 US.
Hmm.
So I don't know how it's definitely not going to be a situation where they drop the price of the PS5 to make room for the Pro at the top end.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see what exactly a Pro entails as well, because I think where this will shine will be in the future with like GTA 6 and whatever else. Because there are a few PS5 games that struggle, like Black Myth Wukong doesn't hold. It's at like 30 FPS most of the time. So there's definitely some ways that it can bolster some games, but for the most part, it's kind of flat. Like a lot of games on PS5 perform very well as it is
So
already.
I
That's-
called this
yeah.
out. Oh, go ahead, Ash.
Oh, I was gonna say it's tough because I mean, right now, like many of you, I'm playing Astrobot, and it looks incredible. And I'm like,
Yeah.
not once have
It's
I
perfect.
thought playing Astrobot. Oh man, I really wish I had a PS5 Pro. I know, Steve, you were saying FF7 Rebirth in some of the open world areas, it could look better.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know like certain shots of Cloud, like his face looks weird, and I agree. But like in general, playing Rebirth, I didn't think, God, I wish this looked way better than it did.
See, now here's where I think there's an obvious point to make for a PS5 Pro though. In my Astrobot review, I called out the fact that there was no
Right.
performance or quality mode. But
Right.
that is not true for the vast majority of PS5 games.
Yeah, sure.
And I think when you realize that, developers have been doing a lot to optimize for PS5. You look at Spider-Man and it's got this kind of in between quality and performance mode. Most games have something like that. If you were to be able to say like, hey, on PS5 Pro, performance and quality mode are the same thing. Like you can get all the benefits of quality mode visually with the frame rates of quality mode or of performance mode in most games. I think that would go a long way towards making me, want to pick something like this up because it does kind of suck on a console having to trade off between visual fidelity and performance. I would like to just have both.
I think I'd like to see brand new system features because I think just from my personal perspective, there aren't that many games where I'm like, oh, I've got to go to performance now. I'm going to miss out on full 4K because like usually 1440p at 60 FPS still looks amazing. But I'd like to see stuff like Quick Resume from Xbox find its way into PS5.
That would be nice.
Just
Yeah.
like just some like sort of something that actually differentiates it on a capable level from what it can do from the base system, like something like that.
I have to imagine that there is. Oh, go ahead, Brandon.
I was gonna say I never turn my consoles off. Everything's always in rest mode. So I don't know how much benefit I would get out of something like Quick Resume personally.
Well, you'd still be able to just go between different games without, we're losing your state.
True. I mean, that on its own is cool. Like, I certainly wouldn't say no to it. I don't know how much value I'd personally get out of it, but again, I've never had access to it.
Right. Really quick, by the way, just sorry, Steve, 1 second. We got a $5 super chat from Klexend saying, happy birthday, Ash. Hope this presentation is good for you, the rest of GVG, and all of gaming. Well, thank you very much, Klexend, and to all of you. Many of you in chat have wished me a happy birthday. I would have preferred that Sony decided to do this on a different day at 8 a.m. But hey, here we are, and I super appreciate your birthday wishes. Also, to those of you asking, our man Derek is just on vacation. He's good. He's just on vacation with friends, but he'll be back. No worries. He's good. He's not sick or anything. He's just on vacation. So, yeah.
I just heard Ash say he wishes this happened on 9/11. But happy
God.
birthday, Ash.
Thank you. That's not all what I said, but okay.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment.
Jeez.
Anyway,
I'm on the 12th.
Anyway.
12th. Jeez.
Oh boy.
Anyway, thank you, Claxton. And PS5 Pro
There's-
hype. Yeah.
we've reached such a plateau of what we can achieve and accomplish with visual fidelity in games thus far. I mean, this is long past going from like 2D to 3D or something from like the GameCube to HD, or the PS2 to PS3. Like, there's only so much further we can do with like visual and capable and things that the consoles are capable of. So that we're like,
Yeah.
they're like small inches forward now, as we were saying, like actually having the visual fidelity with like performance and performance and visual modes stacked into one, or things where you just kind of go from one game to another. Because things like SSDs where the games load in an instance is one of the biggest changes I think we've had in this console generation, more so than the visuals themselves.
Absolutely.
Loading some of these games in an instant has been incredible. Like, that's one of the things we noticed with a game like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, where like you can't have that kind of instant change between one scene to another without
Right.
something like the PS5.
I think with my PS4 Pro as well, that was very marketable in that you can shove 4K on the box, and like going from 1080p to 4K is a jump. One thing they could do here, PS5 and Xbox Series X came out in a time before like machine learning resolutions were really a thing. So they could do like some sort of DLSS and get like 8K out of it. I don't think that's anywhere near as marketable, but it's a big number on a box, and I think that would be kind of exciting.
That would be interesting too, because they've famously removed 8K from the PS5 box a while back.
That's true. Maybe it's all adding up. They removed it so they can add it back.
Yeah, the thing. Oh, go ahead.
There's Bisonhauer in our live audience chat says the Pro can actually fly around your room like the ship in Astrobot. And if that was the case,
what they're gonna
I'd
do.
buy one today. I'd buy one right now
Why
if
doesn't
that
my
was it.
DualSense fly around like the dual speeder?
About
Exactly.
a happy medium at 6K.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if they lean into 8K, because the original rumor that ended up being correct, that first outed the existence of the PS5 Pro, indicated that 8K was one of the main selling points of it. And the only reason I remember this is because I made a video about it a year ago, and people are like, "Ha, look at us now," in our comments yesterday.
Yeah.
But I still don't believe it'll be an 8K console. Like, how many 8K TVs are out there? How many people have an
Only
8K
affordable
TV?
Those.
For sure. I agree with you, and I agree with all the audience saying 8K doesn't make much sense. But also, it's a big
Right.
marketing term. You know,
I agree, and
number on
Sony
there.
loves those hyperbolic marketing terms, which is why we got 8K on the PS5 box, even though it never did it.
yeah.
The situation was a little bit different, but I also remember Nintendo saying that 1080p didn't matter either when the Wii came out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. That's true.
That was the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be.
You
it'll
asked
be
me
interesting
like
to see.
6 years ago, I would have told you 4K doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That said, after 8K, you can't get much denser without needing screens that are literally bigger than the rooms in your house.
It doesn't have to make sense for it to be put on a box and
But
that's like a marketing
That's
thing.
true too.
to be fair, I think John's onto something with PS5 having its own version of DLSS. That is another component of the original rumor.
Yeah.
That at least correctly nailed the project name for this, being Trinity. They said it was going to be something like a PlayStation branded DLSS implementation where it's got its own PlayStation themed name. So I could see them using that as a means of like, hey, we're going to get up higher resolutions, more games will hit 4K 120, stuff like that. But I do anticipate they may say like, oh, look at this handful of games that can do 8K for 10 years from now when you have an 8K TV.
PS4 Pro was also
Grab
like a
some water.
big...
Be right back.
Sure.
Right back.
PS4 Pro was a good help for VR, and that's probably not what's going to happen here. PSVR 2 feels all but abandoned at this point.
PS4 Pro is where I entered that generation on PlayStation.
Uh-huh.
I got it exclusively for Monster Hunter World. That's going to happen again. I've heard that the demos at PAX were running on, and Gamescom were running on PS5.
Yeah,
and
they were
that
choppy.
they were framey, and I don't want to drop $600 on a box to play one game better, but I will.
I don't anticipate it's going to launch framey, but yeah, it's definitely a bit rough in the demo.
We got about 30 seconds left, and we need to. I just need to make an important statement that no matter what happens, what we see of this PS5 Pro, it's not going to ever match the fidelity that Nintendo has achieved showing meat in Mario Party Jamboree.
Very true. Very true.
So, it's the ball's in your court, Sony. Can you improve?
I'm gonna laugh
on
if it
Nintendo's
just
meat?
opens on a steak.
Yeah, it's just Mark Cerny on a barbecue. Just grill up some meat.
You think they're going to announce the Switch 2 in this video?
They could.
Yes.
They
They
could.
might.
They have the power.
And
That's how they'll get one over on Nintendo.
Here we
Let's see
are.
It'll be like
years get
Lego
blown out.
Horizon.
There
We
we
got
go.
dev
Rated
kits.
M.
Oh
Hi,
no.
I'm Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to
What
talk
up,
about
Mark?
the newest addition to
Hey,
our
Mark.
console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances
quick.
gaming technology.
they went straight up.
Oh,
But
okay.
first,
Yeah.
I want to
They go,
take
hey, here
just
we
a
go.
minute
There
to
it
look
is.
at what we put in the original
Let me know the
PlayStation
volume
5
is, y'all.
and how it delivers an
Is this
exceptional
that's the
gaming
current
experience.
PS5, right?
Yeah, that's
Right.
the current one.
The new model.
That would be funny if that was
PS5
it.
gives
He,
you
he
It's
put the
gonna be blue.
note on it.
to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable
right, Ragnarok.
I don't need to know the stats of the current one.
I know, right? Come on.
They've got to make you know what's being upgraded.
Yeah.
And frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second. PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details
Lucky
to
Roo, I
fantastic
see you. Oh,
worlds with
hi,
fast
Mark. I love the
panoramas to
room
explore.
reference. I appreciate
Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements.
It's him.
Including
It's Raymond.
reflections off of water or glass, and the realism that comes from real-time global illumination.
I love
Custom
weight tracing.
SSD can
Ah,
load
there
data
it
at
is.
breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between
Oh, such a
game
good
worlds
game.
and data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are
My
essentially
boy.
Oh,
unlimited.
that moment in Spider-Man 2 was so cool.
It was.
That's a great
Yeah.
intro.
Tempest 3D audio tech
That was a
brings
good
an
transition.
unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games. With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are. Finally, the DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your
Yeah.
hands what your character is
Yeah.
experiencing.
Yeah, they really
inside
cooked with
game.
the DualSense this generation.
What if there's a dual
Yeah,
sense
it's
It's
too that
wonderful
can
to
feel
see such
you?
variety and richness of game
I
experiences.
have 4 dual
Creators
senses.
have
The
made
controller's
I'd really
amazing
rather
use
not
of the
replace
hardware
them.
capabilities, but when I talk to them, I
don't
hear
see them
about their
replacing the
desire
controller.
for more
It would
graphics
require
performance. The
too
dreams of
much.
the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be
There you
a
go.
Oh, look at
Just
that.
toggle.
Did I call it?
Fidelity modes
You
emphasize
called
the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the
The
games only
Windows.
run
Spider-Man
at
2
30
is
frames per
good.
second. The visuals can be choppy.
Yeah, where's our
and the
Spidey
controls less
DLC, Mark?
responsive.
Right?
Performance
Mark?
modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second,
Love Ghost of Tsushima.
I still need to play that. That's
mainly by
a
reducing the
big
graphical detail until those frame rates can be
missed
achieved.
game for me.
Yeah, that is a
When asked to decide on the mode,
probably one of the best
players are
PS4
choosing
games
performance
ever.
about 3/4 of the time.
Fantastic
Removing
game.
that decision, or at least narrowing that divide,
Like we're
is one
recapping
of
a
the key
keynote
targets for
on the
PlayStation
PS5
Pro.
that we've seen
We
before.
want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to,
Well, there we
at the high
go.
frame rates that players typically prefer.
Getting
To do
rid of the
that,
toggle,
PS5 Pro
baby.
substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3
Mark,
ways.
your glasses are crooked.
Here's what we call the Big 3.
Did he fix them in the
First, we made
transition?
the GPU
Oh, there is
much
AI
larger and increased the speed of the
oh
memory
boy.
it uses.
in the
The result is
more ray
rendering
tracing
that's up to
too.
45%
more ray
faster.
tracing.
Second, we made
More ray
major
trace.
upgrades to the ray
Those
tracing,
shapes.
taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays
Cone,
at
cube,
double
ball,
This
the
guy
and
sounds like an
cross.
evil
speeds
genius.
of
I can hear it.
PlayStation 5.
No, Mark certainly absolutely is an
And
evil
finally,
genius.
we added
Yeah.
custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution.
Oh, there we go.
Or
Yeah,
PSSR.
there's
for
the
short.
DLSS.
It's
PSSR
Pisser!
It's a pisser,
analyzes
and that's
the
what
video
Pisser in
it?
pixel by pixel,
Pisser.
and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the big 3
Good.
involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail
It's
and
really
targets
hard to
super
gauge.
smooth 60 frames
It
per
is.
second.
Yeah.
Just
Right,
like
oh,
looking
yeah.
really close.
Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier.
I mean, I see the frame rate at least.
Yeah.
Sure.
This goal
I
of
think that's
delivering
really what
almost
they're focusing
fidelity-like
on.
graphics and
Yeah.
performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5. Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite
Is it
is the parade
much
scene.
sharper
really
and
lean in
crisper?
and
look distant
I mean,
details
much might
are
be
much
putting it.
Probably more noticeable.
And here,
Yeah.
we see
In there.
Marvel's
TV
Spider-Man
rather than
2
Yeah,
Yeah.
noticeably
over than
higher
over
resolution
Yeah.
screen
throughout
for
the
sure.
scene,
Yeah.
Especially when
including
they
in
zoom
trees
in.
and procedural cars. So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the big three showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate.
It's not showing
It's called
Horizon.
Pisser, actually,
There are
Mark.
as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh,
Apart from
as
the
I just
detail
said.
boost, that
Cool.
extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects, as well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Jorv's orders.
Good enough for me.
They're not doing comparisons for
Ray
that one for
tracing
some
is
reason.
funding bright
Right.
usage as well, particularly when
I mean,
the games
Forbidden
are
West
focused
looks
on higher
stunning,
frame rates. The
regardless.
faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference. Allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames
Show
per
me
second.
them shiny cars.
That boost in
Show
ray
me the
tracing
box,
is also
Mark.
delivering big wins for
Right.
Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better
That is a good
reflections
looking
and a
floor,
greater
though.
variety of reflective surfaces,
Yeah.
Look at
but
that
also
water.
for further realism in the casting of shadows. I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've
I
ever
haven't
built,
not enjoyed
and a
it.
worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
Where's
Oh,
the
it's
box and the
really short.
price, Mark?
What's it look like?
Oh, there it is.
It's in real time.
snap. It's the same.
have
I'm
to-
just kidding. Oh,
Rent for your pleasure.
it's got a notch.
That's definitely a ripped PS5.
Huh.
It actually looks surprisingly slim for a Pro model.
I sneak Bloodborne in here.
Hey, showed
somehow.
Rebirth. All right, cool.
Close your eyes. It'll be worth it.
Show me Astrobot though. Show me how shiny
I
that
know.
boy is now. I'm gonna be able to see myself in his reflection with the quality they have.
Right?
Duper D duper Astrobot.
What's with all the neon?
I still wish we could have gotten Riven DLC. So
Alan
Riven
Wake.
hit standalone adventure. Gran Turismo does look really clean, I will say.
They showed the one segment in Alan Wake that legitimately scared me.
Those rays are traced.
Yeah, it looks like it just got darker darks and some lighter lights.
Show me a Palico.
Midnight and Beyond says PS5 Pro Balin or Riot. I love the chaos. Midnight and Beyond.
How much is it, Mark? Oh, there you go. Oh, that's a lot of dust.
$699
£700.
Are you kidding?
Whoa!
I shouldn't.
Okay.
And that's without a disc
Sure.
drive, baby.
I shouldn't have jinxed it and said
That was-
$699.
Oh, that
Thank
is
you for-
so much higher than I thought.
Thank you for the laughs on my birthday. PlayStation. $700. Are you kidding me?
$700 console
Oh, my.
for
Oh, that gave me a good birthday laugh. Thank you for that, Sony.
Oh, there's a reason they
PlayStation
saved that for like
$700 away.
the final frame of the presentation.
Oh my
Oh.
God,
Listen.
$700.
I,
Hoy boy.
wait, I need a shot of the side by side comparisons. 'Cause I was gonna be like, corporate
That
wants
is-
you to find the difference between this picture and this picture, same picture.
'Cause I legit think when you're watching it on a big TV,
Sure,
full
sure,
size,
sure.
no YouTube app, you probably are going to see a difference, but
Yeah.
a $700
I guess.
difference.
I mean,
I don't know.
Well, that's
It's
before
still
tax.
like it's still like across the room from me, so it's like I'm looking at a painting where I don't see all the little details, anyways, even though that far away. But I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
I
a lot.
I will say that I tend to notice the difference between quality and performance modes in most PS5 games.
Thanks. I'll say
like,
that. Yeah.
The visual differences are there, but $700. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Dude,
a
and that's
lot to
before
ask.
tax. That's like 800 almost after tax in a lot of places. You're getting close to $1,000 for a game console at that point.
Yeah, I can outright say this isn't for me.
Insane.
This is not for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm pretty into my tech. Like I play on like a 4K 120 FPS display, so I could take advantage of this. But I think a lot of folks can't, like, because you have to have a pretty great TV for this to be a thing for you, and on top of that, to ask for $700 for it. I love the idea of it. I love the idea of having a console that I no longer have to choose between quality and performance, just getting both. That was what I said I wanted before this started, but I think you could have sold it to me even at $600, but that extra 100 on the top is it's a big mental leap to make.
I still barely know like what other games I'd want to be more powerful on PS5. Like,
yeah, the only one I can think of is Rebirth, and I still wasn't complaining throughout that experience.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think Rebirth looks pretty rough in places.
In places,
and I think Rebirth also, unlike most of these games, runs like absolute dog water on fidelity mode. Like it is a bad experience in that mode.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 16 is also pretty rough.
To be fair, I played that in performance mode, and I thought it looked
well.
Great.
Everybody did. That's the point.
I played it in performance mode, and like the frame rate still wasn't high enough. Like that game actually, like I got motion sick in the first couple hours.
Oh damn!
Okay. Yeah, I think there is a case to be made for the existence of a Pro. And I think that they made it as well as they could, but I think the issue here that you're going to face from PS4 to PS4 Pro, we got the very obvious games can now run in 4K. This doesn't have that obvious benefit. This is your games still run at the same resolution, but at better frame rates, which is an option you already have on the PS5. So people are going to struggle to find the reason to drop $700 on this thing. I think
it makes sense that they've done AI upscaling, because I think it's just kind of the future of how we're going to render most images. But it's funny because they've also done a better GPU, so it's on like a native level, it's stronger than a PS5. But then they double that with AI as well. But the results still like I think it's something that's so hard to judge from a YouTube video, but like. Nothing is screaming to me like this is a huge upgrade. Ray tracing might be one thing, because ray tracing on PS5 is quite weak in most games. There isn't really a big ray tracing showcase game, I wouldn't say. And Gran Turismo right here does look very nice when you're racing along and seeing like actual reflections in these cars and the hues bouncing off the ground. Like, that does look nice. But, I guess maybe in the future, maybe like GTA 6 will have great ray tracing that the standard console won't, but... Right now, it's very hard to judge.
The funny thing is, I thought the showcase for ray tracing tech would have been Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk on PC blows the console versions away still. Like, it's a huge difference. And I was kind of surprised to see that they didn't show it whatsoever at the showcase. Like, that would have been a game for me. I would have wanted CD Projekt Red to update for the PS5 Pro almost immediately.
Was it just first-party titles and Hogwarts? Was that the only third-party in there?
We saw Rebirth.
Oh, we saw Rebirth. You're right, we did.
Yeah.
But
I think that's basically it.
Drive, baby.
Do you want to see the disc drive that's sold separately? I'm gonna link it to you right now.
Is it the same as the other disc drive?
Disc drive for PS5
It's got to be
Pro.
the same one. I hope it's the same one.
That's that's the same one. That's the same one.
It's not.
So that's $80. So if you've got a disc-based collection, you're looking at $780 for that.
Before tax. Then you're really getting close to $1,000.
I mean, the pound conversion is the same. $700 is £700 for whatever reason. So that's like $200 extra.
In the UK, you guys have your tax built into prices.
We do,
right?
but like not $200 worth of tax.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. The pound is way stronger than the dollar right now.
And Steve, I think you and I are rocking the same TV.
But like, that's not worth the extra dollar count in my book.
I have a handful of TVs in the house. The one that I'm looking at right now is a bit newer than the one you've got, but that one is upstairs. Yeah, we do have similar setups though.
because I'm talking about an LG CX, which I love, by the way, and like I've been playing Astrobot on, and yeah, I'm gonna go play that after we're done here probably, and yeah, I'm good not spending $700 plus tax.
It's a hard sell.
Bam.
I think there are people it exists for.
Sure.
I think that I'd like to go hands-on with this thing and figure out, like John said, it's really, really hard to kind of sell folks on this without showing it to them in a better way than YouTube can possibly deliver.
That stuff. YouTube is you have a ceiling there in terms of what can really be shown in the minutia. Yeah.
I mean, even then, I think the price has gotten kind of beyond the pale, even for some enthusiasts.
For sure.
Yeah,
It's like this is an unprecedented price for a video game console in this
crazy.
Like if you bought this and sold your old console, you would still be paying a huge amount. Like I think you'd get maybe in pounds. I think you'd probably sell your PS5 for around £300, maybe £350. So you're still looking at charging another £400 to get that, which is crazy. While trading your console in.
Yeah, and I imagine that's going to be what a lot of people do if they want this, is they're going to go to GameStop or CEX or whatever, trade their console in, get a good amount of credit for it. Because usually, I don't know if it's the same in the UK, John, but here in the US, usually when a new console's on the horizon, GameStop will offer some kind of stupid deal. Like, hey, if you trade in your PS5, we'll give you 300, or 400, whatever they deem it to be worth, but they'll only do it in store credit and only towards the purchase of a new console.
Right. Yeah. I think maybe 2 years from now, when we have we're still sort of only kind of just getting current gen games, aren't we? Like there's a small pool of them. Maybe in 2 years, when we have far more exclusive current gen stuff, maybe then we'll be like, okay, now it's time to get a Pro. But I'm definitely not getting this at launch. Maybe a few years from now when it's cut dramatically in price, but I have no need for this. And even if I could afford it, I don't think I'd have a need for it right now.
I don't know what the tax situation is in Canada, but I did look up the conversion, and it's 951 Canadian dollars is $700 US. That's basically $1,000 at that point. That's just insane. Wow.
Then you got to buy the stand separately too. Oh no.
Yeah. They sell the stand separately.
Oh, that's funny. We've got a couple of super chats as well. Game & Watcher 96 gave us $2 and said, "That's it, no Smash." Yeah, where was it?
I know.
Austin Lennon, $2. Can you add a disk drive to this console? Yes, you can. How much was it?
It was $80.
Yep.
$80 US.
And then is that Severa LF, $2, says $700. Is this a Louis Vuitton PS5 Pro?
Louis Vuitton.
Oh,
Louis
okay.
Vuitton, right.
I'm with you.
It's pretty expensive. It's pretty dang expensive. I have to wonder what the plan is here. I also wonder, this is totally a weird aside, but I wonder if the faceplates on the PS5 Pro are the same as the ones for the Slim. Like, could you just, if you have those, could you swap them? Because it looks the same. It just looks taller.
Right.
Would that ridge stop you from using those faceplates?
I don't think so, because you still have the cut in the PS5 Slim. So if you bought faceplates for the Slim, or more importantly, a disk drive, because that comes with that side of the faceplate. So if they're not cross compatible, it would stand to reason that maybe there is a completely different disk drive for the Pro.
Yeah.
The one Daniel posted says it was for the PS5 Pro and the Slim.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, then I would wager then that the faceplates are interchangeable.
That's good then, at least. That's a relief.
We've got a few more super chats. I'm going to read them in a different order because this one's very funny. Nintengeist gave us $5 and says, "This super chat is 0.71% of the cost of the Pro."
Oh.
Ouch.
I only wanted this to play Monster Hunter, but I'm not even sure I'm getting it anymore.
I mean, at that point, would you just play it on PC, though?
The thing is, I would if there was an easy way for me to play on my television. It's just not set up very well for that right now.
I guess that's another conversation, right?
Yeah.
$700 for a console is a lot of money. It's still cheaper than building a gaming PC, though.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair point. Yeah.
But
I,
still,
th- I,
it's
th-
Matter of perspective.
I
The
think it depends on what
proposition
you're
becomes a
looking for.
little bit more dicey at this price, though.
yeah. But we also got Tommy with $5 and says, as if this presentation wasn't bad enough, they showed off The Last of Us Part 2, one of the most undeserving Game Awards winners out there. Absolute garbage. That's Tommy's opinion.
Fair. Hey, that's a fair opinion. Don't necessarily agree, but hey, really appreciate the super chat regardless, Tommy. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And we've got Nintendo with €6 and says the console plus a disc drive makes this roughly 900 euro for a console. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And lastly, we've got Thomas Nerds Out with $10 saying Sony and Microsoft have proven this generation that just because your console costs more and is more powerful, it doesn't mean it's going to be better. Sony has shot themselves in the foot once more.
Yeah, I mean,
They have an
certainly will not
install
be-
base already, so I don't really think that's a valid criticism.
They can do what they want by default, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if anything, this speaks to the fact of how much Microsoft has fumbled this generation, not necessarily Sony.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, we literally just got one of the best games of the generation, in my opinion, dropped on PS5 with Astrobot. That doesn't mean that Sony's console is better because it's more powerful, but there are reasons to own a PS5, in my opinion. Astrobot is a major one of them. But yeah, I think that point sticks more with Microsoft than Sony.
I mean, the main reason to buy a PS5 is there isn't much of a reason to buy a Series X. It's kind of just the default console.
Yeah, I was going to say, and all things said, we've already forgotten, but Microsoft did their own mid-gen refresh announcement a few months ago, and it was just the Series X in white with no disc drive.
Yep.
And so, you know what? I'll take this. Like, I'll take a PS5 Pro over them just announcing they're making a worse version of the PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, we made it in black, and we somehow took away some of the memory, so the games run worse.
Yeah. We also have Coba with $2.99 Australian dollars, I think that is.
I believe so, yeah.
And they say, bit shocked that there's no change to the CPU. I think that's pretty standard with mid-gen refreshes.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that almost zero games, like if you talk about PC, console, whatever, with the exception of the Switch, almost zero games are CPU bound. It's always the GPU that's the limiting factor.
Mm-hmm. We also have $5 from Duck Lizard. Thank you so much. My friend worked on The Last of Us Part 2, and even he didn't like it. Hey, fair, like you just said, fair enough. That's a perfectly valid opinion. Yeah.
A lot of people don't. You're not alone. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's completely fine. Also, Nemesis with $2. Thank you so much. Is Astrobot really that good versus Mario Odyssey?
Yep.
Not only is it that good, I'm going to say that I like it more than Mario Odyssey. I said it. I'm just putting it out there. I let Mario Odyssey's great.
Ooh,
Astrobot rules. Now, to be fair, I haven't finished Astrobot yet, but we can't even get Nintendo to acknowledge Galaxy 2, and meanwhile, Team Asobi is like, no worries, we're just gonna go ahead and make Galaxy 3. It's that good.
All I'm gonna say is two kings can coexist.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well said.
Two cakes, baby.
Two
two
cakes. I just finished Astrobot the other night, and it's very good. Very hype final sequence. Y'all are in for it if you haven't gone there yet.
But as Boxing Bob says, why not both? They're both amazing games. They're both fantastic, phenomenal. So yeah.
Some dupe of $2 points out they didn't mention how much memory storage it has. Right? Is that on social somewhere?
2 terabytes.
2 terabytes. Okay.
That's nice, at least. I'll take that. I mean, that's a little tough. I mean, 2 terabytes it's good. It's not great in the PS5 era.
It's the kind of the least you'd expect at 700 bones, right?
I will
like
say
at
though,
least 4 at this price.
it helps paper over the not the $200 increase in cost, but it helps put into perspective a bit more. Like if you buy another terabyte for your PlayStation 5, you're going to spend $100 to get that, like on one of those SSDs that you can install. I don't love it, but it's at least more than just saying like, hey, it's still 512 gigs and it ray traces better.
Yeah, it's kind of nice when consoles have been kind of just known to not be very good with the memory it comes with at launch at base. They're always adding more memory, whether it's an SD card or an SSD itself.
Yeah, I think I spent
Or if you're
the
the
price
Switch,
of a
you go from
console.
32 gigs to 64.
I was,
Wow. What a difference it
I
makes
mean,
now.
I will say this though, on the Switch, that 64 gigs goes way further than it does anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they do to compress their games, but it's magical.
It's very nice.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm stuck in an interesting place because I'm a huge tech enthusiast, and I'm pretty sure that the PS5 Pro is aimed squarely at people like me who run out and buy this stuff just to
Right.
see how cool it is. But they have priced it at such a point that I don't know how many enthusiasts exist that are going to kind of on impulse drop that kind of money, because it is a huge amount.
Are
And
scalpers even going to?
yes, 100% yes. I mean, like, scalpers will do this, and I
Oh,
I
man.
do think that there will be a rush of early adopters.
Can you
there
imagine
will
how
be a
much
lot of
worse it
people
gets
who
with
grab it.
scalpers? Because at launch, you're probably
Yeah.
not looking at paying $700. You're probably like looking at paying $1,000 for a scalped one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I think it will go to people who just desperately want this thing. But I think after the initial rush, it'll be one of those things where it's like Sony is going to have to realize they've priced out a lot of their audience. And then there's even more. Like, I know people who have a PS5 who still don't own a 4K TV, who are playing on 1080p. Some people
Right.
don't even know that they're doing that. And so it'll be an interesting scenario to try to make the case. Like, I still stand by the fact that there's no super obvious improvement here.
No, there isn't.
There's nothing that screams like, oh, here's why you have to have this. Here's what makes it worth the price of admission. And I think that that's where they're going to struggle, because it's almost like the VR problem in a way. VR is so hard to show people the benefit, because if you watch it on YouTube, it's just a game with a really bad camera. But if you actually get a chance to go hands-on and experience it, you can at least understand what the draw is. With this, you're gonna have trouble communicating the value. You're gonna need the media and people who are like really well versed. Like, I can imagine the guys at Digital Foundry doing a great, like, really in-depth review of the console that shows the minutia of why it's better. But
Yeah.
I think outside of those really dedicated experts, you're gonna have a hard time explaining to the layperson why they should get rid of the PS5 they have and buy this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed. We have had a few more super chats come in. We got about 28 Brazilian real from Rafa Barros. Thank you so much, Rafa. I wonder how Nintendo can get some advantage by working with that price margin. Well, they've got quite the margin to work with. The Switch 2 is going to come in well under $700. You can be sure of that. So yeah, for sure. Also, Nintendo Noah with $5. Thank you so much. I'm good with my PS5 because I typically use performance mode anyway. I like my high frame rate, but PS5 Pro maybe one day, but I'm saving for Switch 2. Totally
fair.
fair. I think a
Fair,
lot of
yeah.
people are going to agree with you on that. Let's see. We got Jono Charles Davy with £2. Thank you so much. Astrobot or Black Myth Wukong for my next game?
Extremely different games.
Very,
Yeah,
very
that's
different
different.
games.
That is a really hard call to make.
What mood
yeah.
are you in? What mood are you in, Jono? Are you in a very happy mood? Are you in a more, victory earning mood?
I'm going to say, obviously, I'm biased. I'm going to say Astrobot, not just because I'm biased and I love it, but also because there's some weird stuff with the devs of Black Myth Wukong that don't sit right with me. So I'm going to say give Team Asobi. Well, PlayStation's getting your money, but give Team Asobi the love. Is what I'm going to say. But they're both worth playing for sure.
Yeah.
And also Hustlebun with $5. Thank you so much. Let's instead use this space. Shout out games we do love and wish Ash a happy birthday. Astrobot is good enough to fill the Mario Odyssey Galaxy void. Buy it. Yes, they're both fantastic. You can't go wrong. And Astrobot's amazing. And if you love Mario Odyssey, Mario Galaxy, you're going to love Astrobot for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Wow,
Well,
thank you to the
well,
almost 2,000. Well, really, we actually had more than 2,000 of you at peak for the PS5 Pro Reveal. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning, everybody.
Yeah. I'm
Thank
glad you
you.
got some
Appreciate
laughs
it.
on your birthday there, Ash.
Yes, that was That price reveal gave me a good hearty chuckle for sure. Yeah, no, yeah. Thanks for that, Sony, and thank you all for your lovely birthday wishes, everybody, and really appreciate you hanging out with us this morning.
Yeah, thanks so much,
Yeah.
everyone.
All right,
Thank you.
everybody.
All right.
Guess we're wrapping it
We'll
up
see
there
ya.
then.
I guess yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously, we'll enjoy all of our content from Gamescom and PAX, and we had some amazing reviews by Steve and Brandon coming out recently, and we'll see you on Friday for GVG Cast episode 115, I believe it is now. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking more about the PS5 Pro in the days to come. So
Oh yeah.
The pisser.
the good old
Yep.
With that, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We will catch you very soon. Till we meet again. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.